riches, or so they say. You gotta keep pushing for the fortune and fame. You know, it's all a gamble when it's just a game. You treat it like a capital crime, everybody's doing the time. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter, back for yet another fantastic episode. Just you wait.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know them guys.
Yeah, you know them guys?
I'll admit something straight out here.
Okay.
The first 2 or 3 sentences, I had no idea what
That's
that
all right.
was. Then it got to what we call in music this thing called the chorus.
Right.
And then I got it.
That's kind of why they do them choruses like that.
Yeah, them choruses get known by people.
Yeah.
That be my good friend of mine.
Yes.
Axl Rose.
Really?
Very good friend.
Wow.
Which is to say I've seen him on TV but never actually met him.
Okay. You're like most of us then.
Yeah. So that would be Guns N' Roses.
Yes.
Ha! Ha!
There you go. I don't know. I'm slipping. I got to find some. No, it's good. It's good that you get him once in a while.
Well,
it keeps your head in the game.
Here's the thing. If I never got him, it wouldn't be any fun anymore.
Right.
So I got to get one. It's like the Vikings. I got to win.
Yeah.
I got to win 3 games a year. To keep somebody watching. So keep our listeners going. I actually get it right this week.
I would be interested from any of the listeners out there if they've been keeping a tally on how many. What's his record?
Well, Herb Carneal used to always go over the scoring.
Yeah.
He would always say that's a 6-4-3 double play if you're scoring at home.
Right.
I used to think I was the only one who was, because I would sometimes. So when I was a kid, I'd score at home.
Yeah.
Couldn't take a bathroom break, because I couldn't take my radio with me. And but yeah, if you're scoring at home, I'm still below the euchre line in batting average. Let's just put it that way. I'm still down there.
Well,
still down there with old Bob.
Well, yeah,
he's still around, by the way.
I don't know.
Uke's still alive? I think he is.
He might be. Yeah.
I wonder if he's still doing Brewers games.
Maybe you would know this. Who had the worst batting average, Euchre or Pat Putnam?
Oh boy, it's got to be Putnam.
Yeah.
Has to be.
He was like one.
Well, there's Minnie Mendoza. There's that Mendoza line.
Right.
I don't remember what that was exactly. That might have been 200. But I know Euchre. You know what amazes me? What amazes me is how a guy like Bob Euchre, with all due respect to him, I think he's very funny, and I think of him in the Major League movies and those Miller Lite commercials. How a guy like him can become so renowned. I mean, he is known as Mr. Baseball. Now, to me, Mr. Baseball is Willie Mays or Mickey Mantle or somebody like that. It's not him.
No.
So only in America can a guy who played about 2 years in the bigs and batted 200 become Mr. Baseball.
Oh,
it's
boy.
incredible.
Yeah.
And only in America can that happen. Euchre makes a career, makes commercials.
Right.
I remember there was a commercial where he got room 200 at a hotel.
Yeah.
He goes, my lifetime batting average. First off, if I batted 200, I wouldn't brag about it.
Right.
Okay? So it's kind of like, there was a pitcher back for the Twins in the old days named Terry Felton. Mm-hmm. Look him up sometime. His career record was 0-16. Now, I wouldn't go around telling people that.
No.
I mean, now with the internet, of course, you can look anything up. But my lifetime batting average 200 up in the Euchre seats.
Wow. Well, not everybody can aspire to that. My batting average would probably be far worse than 200. I don't know if I'd be hitting. All they'd have to do is sit and throw fastball after fastball, or really anything. I don't know that I could hit a major league pitcher.
Now, me being left-handed, I have an advantage. But,
sure.
No, I think I'd lead the league in hitting if I were in there.
Really?
Yeah, no question about it. Bob Euchre is 85 years old.
Wow.
And he is still doing Brewers radio commentary.
Oh, that's crazy.
So,
well, there you go, everybody. That's some knowledge for your thinker right there.
How we get to talking on subjects, I don't know. For proof, we don't rehearse this show.
Exactly. Speaking of not so much the Brewers, but Wisconsin in general.
Now we're going downhill now.
Right. Your buddy.
I'd rather talk about the Packers than this.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. The Packers ain't cheating, they ain't trying. A Jerry Glanville quote.
Yeah. All right, your buddy, the Democrat governor over there, Tony Evers, he wants to give local governments back the ability to seize private property, use eminent domain.
Look at the words you used, seize.
Yes.
Is that what the Constitution says, seize?
That's S-E-A-S, seize.
Yeah, C apostrophe S. Yeah. Got a lot of C's.
Yes. To use eminent domain for the express purpose of building biking and hiking trails.
Oh, so that's a public necessity, is it?
Right. And just for those of you who maybe haven't listened to some of our older podcasts yet, what are you waiting for?
And judging by the ratings, you have.
Yeah.
Saying that.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. I see people going back, but
they are timeless.
In case you haven't got to this one yet, I don't know exactly what episode it was, but we talked about eminent domain, and there was a court case, Kelo versus City of New London, back in 2005. And what happened is that there was a lady that had a home, and basically the government of New London wanted to come and take her home, raise it, R-A-Z-E, raise it, not R-A-I-S-E, raise it. And they wanted to take it because of public use, the public good. They wanted to be able to build something that really didn't have anything to do with the public at all. When you look at the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution and the takings clause in that, governments tended to go a little nuts. And, they had a very liberal view of the takings clause.
And for those of you who went to public school, the fifth would be between the fourth and the sixth. Jay, and that brings up a more, before we get into this case specifically, it brings up a you mentioned for the public good. And It's amazing the more I've studied eminent domain, because I like to learn new things.
Yes.
Okay. Even though I'm a routine-based guy, I like to learn new things. It's amazing how little definition there is to the term First of all, to me, the term public good is something that Karl Marx would have written about.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I mean, it's not doesn't jive with our traditions and constitution and respect of private property. But let me just say this: if there isn't a clear definition of public good,
yes,
you are going to get this is a power that is going to continue to inch and inch and inch and inch more and more and more and more. Because if you can say a bike path is a public good, then a community pool is a public good, then a community center is a public good. Okay, a lot different than a school or a highway or something of that nature. Now, that doesn't mean that they're always right when they do that, but if that definition keeps expanding or has no limit in law, and the Kelo case brought this to light, I mean, where is the pendulum finally going to swing back? Because if like I said, they can say, we don't like the looks of your neighborhood.
Yes.
We're going to tear it down and rebuild it for the public good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could go that way. You could say, we really want to build this mixed-use development. And because the public would be using the ground floor shops.
Yeah.
And,
we're going to build a halfway house. Yeah. We're going to build a whatever. I mean, what are the limits to, and what are your protections as a property owner? There was a time where, owning your own home or was the definition of making it. and nobody took it from you. There was a time where you were encouraged
Right.
to, and I'm not just necessarily going way back to the homestead days. I mean,
right.
I'm just saying, there was a time where what the planners called today urban sprawl. Okay, there was a time when that was, hey, if that's where you want to go out and make it, you go out there and make it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like the opposite's going on. It's like government is in an acquisition mode.
Right.
And 28% of the land in this nation is owned by the federal government. If you add what states and counties and cities and school districts own, it's probably 50% of the land in this nation.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not saying it should be zero. Okay, I'm not saying that.
Right.
But
I guess.
well, I mean, look, I'm
Yeah.
not against a national park. I was against how it formed.
Yes.
Which was a different story. But I'm not against historical sites or I'm not against a city hall when they don't look like Ramsey. I'm not against a highway.
Mm-hmm.
There are some legitimate constitutional uses that the government has, an army base. But when it's 50-50 in this nation,
Mm-hmm.
once they get 51%, which they may have, okay,
Yeah.
a minority of land in this country is owned by citizens.
Right. Yeah, that's just not good. I mean, you look at a state like Nevada,
Yeah, New Mexico.
where so much of the land is owned by the government. That doesn't make any sense.
Like
to me.
whole counties almost.
Right.
I mean, with the exception of a handful of cities. But, I mean, anyhow, back to this
Yeah.
case about, that an amenity somewhere
Mm-hmm.
is now, and it's amazing when people who believe in big government argue for local control. I always snicker at it. It's like
Yeah.
they're using local control to sell their increased size of government.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a great marketing play.
Absolutely.
It's
it
like
is.
something we'd come up with.
Yeah, I wouldn't come up with this.
I wouldn't either, but it is kind of a thing that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
your buddy, this Evers guy,
My buddy now.
What's he saying now exactly? What the bill? You said the bill restores.
The right of localities to use eminent domain to create bike paths and walking trails.
Now, what do you want to bet? All the cities in Wisconsin all of a sudden go to their comprehensive plans and create a new bike path or sidewalk or regional trail now that they can get that power back.
Right. Well, the current state budget prohibits government entities from using eminent domain for trails and pedestrian ways.
Specifically?
And this is according to the usnews.com. Yes, specifically. So, cycling enthusiasts and municipal leaders say the prohibition is slowing progress on projects around Wisconsin. Well, we can't have that. We can't have projects being slowed down for cycling enthusiasts.
Oh, no.
No, we can't do that. So what we need to do is
So, damn
take
it.
somebody's private
Yeah.
property and turn it into something that we use for fun.
We can't take property fast enough, damn it.
Yeah. See, all these people own this land and they're in our way.
No kidding. What the
Really
hell?
think they are.
They don't need their 2,000 square feet. Get them out of there.
Yeah.
And does anybody? I mean, here's the thing. It's like a triple whammy. Okay, think about it this way, Jay. You buy up somebody's property,
Yep.
which ain't free, just to let these cyclists paying the BST when I'm governor. Then you have to construct these trails and maintain them.
Yeah.
Then that land does not produce revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a triple whammy. You're paying 3 times over. And the tax burden continues to fall on the folks who are, you say you got a city of 4,000, okay? And that may be 1,000 homes. I don't know,
Right.
something like that. And say you take out 25 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you've got to use the tax dollars to pay for those homes, demolish them, build the trail, maintain the trail, paint it or whatever, or put up no fun signs or whatever they do, then on top of that, that land doesn't generate revenue anymore.
Right.
So look at the burden on the taxpayers there in that locality.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I love how they say it, though.
I'm sure this is good.
Oh, yeah. To lose eminent domain is a huge issue, he said. We expend a lot of funds through design, through scoping, which, for those of you not in the project world, there are different stages of a project. Yeah. You design it, and then you have to scope it out, and then, you get into building and all that kind of stuff. But he says, how do I, protecting a taxpayer investment, isn't that a creative way to put it, say I don't know if I can deliver that project? Well, I can tell you that 95% of the people you are taking tax money from really could care less or don't want that project at all. And they would be like, eh.
But it's the old, we've spent so much money on it, so now we have to do it. I've heard that with light rail, too.
Yeah.
We spent so much time. We spent 25 years studying it, which nobody wanted in the first place. But now we have to finish it to justify the 25 years of studying it.
Right.
We got to make it worse now.
Yeah. Yeah. So they said the biggest challenge will be acquiring property from about 20 landowners around Eagle River to connect a couple of these trails that they want to connect. There's like a 54 mile stretch of this Eagle River.
Can't they go around these people's houses?
You would think so. I mean, look at Minneapolis. They just put the bikers right in the street.
Well, yeah. I mean, or they put them on top of the cars. I don't know what they do. I mean, can't you design something that doesn't take away people's private property?
Yeah.
Maybe you got to spend. Why don't you try scoping that out over there, Mister Bike Designer, whatever his name is? Who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, discouraging news from the world of Wisconsin.
Yes. Once again,
not a surprise.
Yeah.
Sorry to everybody.
Once again,
not going to get happier as the show goes on. But
well, let's move this side of the border and do another.
Not
piece.
very much, though.
No, not very much at all. But we are going to come this side of the St. Croix into a city named Lakeland, Minnesota. You know right where that is, Andrew?
Of course I do.
Yeah?
It's east of us, right?
Well, it is east of us. Yeah, it's right on the
We talked
St.
about
Croix.
Bayport and Stillwater last week. So
Yeah.
it's we're in the same neighborhood.
Yep, absolutely.
Lakeland has been in the news for very ungood reasons lately. This is... I don't know what to say about this. Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
We had a council member out there, Jim Stanton, who announced his resignation in February. And there was an issue facing the council with him with conflicts of interest and things like that. We'll get into it in just a sec. He rescinded his resignation, which he can't do under state law.
I quit. Just kidding.
Yeah. And then he re-implemented it.
Oh. Just kidding about just kidding.
I guess so.
Wow. That's a bit odd.
It is odd. And I want to expand on what this guy was doing.
Okay.
Okay. He was, I don't know how this can happen. I really don't know.
Okay.
There was a data, or as some call it data, practice request to the city that came from the Pioneer Press, which showed that Mr. Stanton was an employee of the city. And he also voted to hire his wife as a private contractor. Now, let me ask
nepotism.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. I mean, he is serving as in the executive branch.
Yes.
And he is working in the legislative branch. Now, that would...
Or vice versa. He got voted in.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes. The council would be legislative.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the equivalent of I'm the senator from Georgia, and I'm also serving as a cabinet member.
You're the legislator from Georgia.
I'm sorry, senator.
Or senator, okay.
Yeah, so I'm which is specifically prohibited
Yep.
by the Constitution. Now, so this controversy resulted in his resignation. Now, my question is, why was this ever allowed? Don't tell me the city didn't know this here. I mean,
Yeah, it's a city of 1,800 people. I'm pretty sure they know who all their employees are.
well, I mean,
They probably have, what, 5? I could probably look that up.
yeah, it is 5 council people.
5, well, yeah, 5 council people. I was saying maybe 5 employees, but it's probably a little more than that.
Yeah, it may be a tad more.
But not many.
According to Minnesota law,
Yes.
neither the mayor nor any city council member may be employed by the city. The law does clarify employed as full-time permanent employment, which Mr. Stanton was not considered. Now, really, let me examine something. Why don't you take a guess at what he was being paid?
Oh, this is government.
This
so-
part-time wage. Now, a part-time job is a part-time job.
Right. Right. Well, most part-time jobs, what? You make $15 an hour,
Or
$17
you work
an
for,
hour.
or you work for tips, whatever. Mr. Stanton was paid $55 an hour as the
What?
city's part-time public works commissioner. And then he took a second job with Eddie
Oh, wow.
at $65 an hour as a part-time zoning administrator. His wife, listen to
Oh,
this,
boy.
was that's a little discriminatory. Not equal pay.
Wow. I know what I'm doing. I'm moving to Lakeland. Y'all need a job. You need to move to Lakeland.
Well,
Apparently they're hiring.
And I'll tell you what, the council was pretty divided on what to do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he has support on the council. By the way, his wife, Mary Stanton, was hired to clean Lakeland City Hall and the city's 2 pump houses. That rendered her $30 an hour.
Wow.
Just an FYI. So maybe I'll take their place.
Yeah.
He has the unwavering. Mr. Stanton has the unwavering support of the mayor, Richard Glasgow. He must be Scottish. Who said that he knows the procedures. One of the best zoning guys I've ever had. He is providing a great hiring him on a part-time basis made total financial sense. So hold on, the print's a little small. We used to have a public works employee who would do zoning, and they would get $90,000 a year with full benefits. Well, Mr. Glasgow, you don't have to pay that.
Right.
I mean, that's your choice. Oh, but Mr. Stanton's not getting any benefits from the city. Yeah, he is. He's getting 3 paychecks.
Exactly. He's doing it out of the goodness of his heart.
Yes, it's a win for the city, a win for the taxpayers, and a win for the residents.
Oh, boy.
They had voted 2-2 not to accept his resignation, by the way.
Wow.
So,
Well, at least he didn't vote on that.
yeah. So, holy cow out in Lakeland. Holy cow. What an embarrassment. I mean, and to sit there and try to claim this is some financial thing, some financial win-win. Here's an idea, Mr. Glasgow, and you can borrow my phone if you don't know how to add. Why don't you just take why does everybody in government have to make a 6-figure salary?
I don't know.
Is that some...
just ask the Minnesota legislature. They'll tell you they make, what, $35,000 a year or something?
Yeah, and if it were up to me, they'd make... the fry cook at McDonald's would make more. But, I mean, if you want to complain about money, then don't pay somebody so much. Don't give them all these cushy benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're choosing to do that. But, I mean, how do you not see this as a conflict?
Exactly. I don't even know. It's like I've hired you onto 2 separate jobs. They didn't have the sense to maybe try and make a combined position and then not have the guy on the council. I mean, that's a conflict of interest in and of itself. And then you've got the nepotism with hiring the wife. And then you've got...
Which, again, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How did the council not know about that?
Oh, they did.
How did the city attorney not know about that?
He did.
So,
but to think about it, though, with city attorneys, their job is not...
Right, you're right.
Their job is to tell a city how they can do something.
How they can get away with something.
Yes.
You're right. They work for the city. They don't... they're not a referee in that sense. So it is... in fact, the mayor called for the firing of the city attorney.
Wow.
Because he disagreed with whether the resignation was valid or not.
So instead of clearing up the corruption, you get rid of the guy that's actually trying to sort it out.
Yeah, and there's one council member, Joe Payment. I can't pronounce his
Johnny
name.
Paycheck.
Yeah, Johnny Paycheck. Take
Okay.
this city and shove it. Who is trying to make motions to review Mr. Stanton's remaining roles in the city. So
Yeah. Well, and let me say this before we move on. Jim Stanton is at fault for being a job hog and working in two separate branches of government. However, the people that were elected to the city council, any one of them that voted for this, that voted to allow him to fulfill these two roles or to continue in these two roles after he got elected, however that worked out, you're all at fault.
yeah,
Every
no
one of
doubt about
you.
it.
You know, and Lakeland, I wouldn't stand for it because, I mean, it may not seem like a big deal. Maybe Jim Stanton's a great guy, all of that.
That's not relevant.
It's not relevant. What's relevant is they're breaking the law. They're paying this guy a boatload of money.
Of your money.
And, you know, this is a conflict of interest. You know, maybe Jim Stanton is a great guy, but let's say the next person they bring in isn't. And they give the same sweetheart deal. But you got to follow the law.
But just think, he's voting on a budget that includes his own salary as a city employee.
Absolutely.
That in and of itself. And whether it's a conflict of interest in a strict or loose interpretation, there's a thing called the appearance of a conflict.
Right.
There's a thing called, it looks bad. If it just looks bad, you just should err on the side of not doing it.
Exactly.
So, you can go back. There's a good economy right now. I would consider working across the border. I mean, for every bad thing we said about Wisconsin, you can make $1 less and take home $1 more. So, I mean, you got to consider that too. You can get a job. You can go work for Hudson.
Yeah.
Go work there if you want to.
Hudson's right across the river. Just
so,
hop off the exit number 1 there,
or swim, one of the two.
Swim right across, and you're golden. So
we'll be posting updates as we get them. But no, Lakeland, you are on. Congratulations for getting on our radar.
Yeah,
I mean, they might get the New Hope Golden Valley treatment here pretty soon.
That good, huh?
Well, since we're going to bring New Hope up.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Ooh.
Is that like it's like we should stop the podcast now and leave a hanger for next week.
Yeah. But we're not gonna. We're gonna forge forward. Yeah, so how do we bring ourselves into this? SMART goals. Some of you have heard about this. A lot of you that work in corporate America have heard about SMART goals. What are SMART goals?
As opposed to dumb goals.
Yes, exactly. We've said the same sort of thing about smart growth and dumb growth.
That's right.
This is something a little different, but it's something that is being implemented at the government level as well as the corporate level.
Yeah, and what does SMART stand for, Jay?
You want the real definition, or you want?
No, I want their definition.
Yeah. Okay. S stands for specific. M.
The ocean?
Yes, Pacific. M stands for measurable. A stands for achievable. R stands for realistic and or reasonable. They couldn't decide, apparently.
Yeah.
And then T stands for time bound. This is given to us by the University of California.
Oh, nice to know what they're teaching out
Office
there.
of the President
Yeah.
of Human Resources. So these are SMART goals that they kind of helped.
Okay, now
Yes.
here's what we have to do, Jay.
Yes.
We have to come up for acronyms for dumb goals.
Okay. We can do that.
You know what I mean? D.U.M.B.
Yes.
Dumb goals. To counter SMART goals.
Right.
But our dumb goals are smarter and their SMART goals are dumber.
That's exactly how it works. That is exactly how it works.
So help us out. You give us some D.U.M.B.
Yes.
Okay, dumb goals. And we need suggestions.
Yep.
I mean, Jay and I are brilliant, but sometimes we have to go outside of the bubble in here and talk about dumb goals.
Right.
So dumb, and we could even have dumber goals.
We could.
Lloyd Christmas and Harry could have dumb and dumber goals. So we'll counteract. And in fact, if you want to be in fact, I'm just going to say this because the legislature of Minnesota sort of adopted SMART goals and then dangled it in front of.
Right.
We'll talk about that in just a sec, but dangled it in front of local government. This is how we're going to tie it in. I'm gonna dangle dumb and dumber goals in front of anybody who just wants it. You don't have to do anything for it.
Don't have to jump through any hoops. No membership in some club.
No annual fee. No paid membership or something like that. No purchase necessary.
We won't even add or remove levy limits.
Yeah, no user agreement. Nothing like that. Dumb and dumber goals we will come up with, and then they are the property of Community Solutions. But we will let that just ride everywhere. Any city that wants to adopt dumb and dumber goals. So
I like it.
So the office of the auditor,
yes,
which has I think been asleep for about 15 years now. This office,
yes,
the new auditor. Julie Blaha.
Blaha.
Oh, there's another A there. I can't really see it. On this website, her name's kind of blocked out.
Yes, Blaha.
Who's that? Who is that?
Julie Blaha.
Yeah, who's Blaha?
She's the state auditor.
Well, I know, but where did she come from?
Oh, I don't know. Somewhere in the Democrat Party.
Well, they turned over a rock. There she was. I don't know.
Maybe. It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, Rebecca Otto was, who the hell was that? She was disappeared for 12 years. We didn't, she was supported by the very people she's supposed to audit.
Right.
So, the state auditor's office, in 2010, the legislature created the Council on Local Results and Innovation.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what's innovative about this, but that was the group of government officials and somebody from Target or something like that, which the Target's always a part of this, that got together and created 10 performance measures for counties and cities. Okay. And, of course, they wanted people to participate in this. You have to participate, Jay.
I'm not much of a joiner.
I'm not much of a joiner either, but they dangled a few, how should I put it, carrots. At the time, first off, they were eligible for reimbursement, I don't know what for, of up to $25,000 to any city that would do this. And also for the levy limits that were in effect at that time. It's kind of funny how the legislature puts levy limits on everybody but themselves.
Right.
They were exempt from levy limits. They did not have to abide by what all the other cities had to abide by.
Wow.
So they created these of course, they create a sample resolution
Of course they did.
They basically write it for somebody, and then you just cross out this city or this county and just...
And then the League of Minnesota Cities pushes it on everybody.
Yes.
And
they will assist on anybody who wants to join a club.
Absolutely.
And then they created these measures for these cities. We have general measures, police services measures, fire and EMS, streets, water, sewer, whatever. And counties have them as well. Counties have, and then how they are measured is also a part of it.
Yeah.
So, and you can find this at the Minnesota Office of the State Auditor.
Yes.
It's under Performance Measurement Program.
Yes.
And it's interesting how they have the benefits. Listen to the benefits of this program.
I can hardly wait.
A county or city that elects to participate in the Standard Measure Performance Measure Program is eligible for the reimbursement of $25,000 and is exempt from levy limits. However, participation standards in the program do not exempt blah, 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 blah. That's the benefits. They list nothing else as a benefit to...
You get $25,000 and you don't have a limit on how much you can tax.
Okay, but
That's great.
But that's the benefits from entering this program. Nothing about improving your city or anything like that.
That goes without saying, though. I mean, listen to these. That's fantastic.
Do we have to?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Under general, rating of the overall quality of services provided by your city with survey data. Or data, if you prefer. Provide year completed and total responses.
Say tomato.
Percent change in the taxable property market value. Nuisance code enforcement cases per 1,000 population. Number of library visits per 1,000 population. Like that makes a better city.
It must be a county thing. I mean,
boy. All right. Bond rating. Citizens,
so you can borrow more.
Right. Citizens' rating of the quality of city recreational programs. Well, we'll get into. There's every category here has things about the citizen rating, and we'll get into a survey a little later just for fun. Accuracy of post-election audit. 1% of ballots counted accurately. Or sorry, not 1%. It's smaller. I'm having trouble reading it, too. I'm getting old. It's just percentage of ballots counted accurately. Under police services, Part 1 and 2 crime rates. Part 1 and 2 crime clearance rates. Average police response time. Under fire and EMS services, insurance industry rating of the fire services. Average fire response time. Fire calls per 1,000 population.
Which, of course, they have no control over.
Right.
Can I just jump in a second?
Yeah.
Somebody paid money to come up with this?
Yeah.
What were they measuring by before this?
Dumb goals, I guess.
Dumb and Dumber goals.
Yes.
All right.
Number of fires with loss resulting in investigation. EMS calls per 1,000 population and emergency medical services average response time. Under streets, average city street pavement condition rating. Yeah. How good are your streets? Well, Minneapolis would fail. Expenditures for the road rehabilitation per paved lane mile rehabilitated. Percentage of all jurisdiction lane miles rehabilitated in the year. Average hours to complete road system during snow event.
Well, that's innovative.
Yeah.
Now this council I mentioned that they put together on results and innovation membership.
Yes.
Included the following people: the mayor of Circle Pines.
Okay.
County administrator of Olmsted County. Administrator of Renville County. Coordinator of Fillmore County. Council member of Moorhead. A county administrator from St. Louis County. Of course, the state auditor, Miss Ithu. Matt Studwell, the assistant city manager of Coon Rapids, whatever. That's Studwell. Scott Studwell.
No.
Jay Stroebel of Minneapolis, planning and management director. And then somebody from Target.
Ah.
There's your
Wow.
group.
So let me
With the
take a look at
predictable
this.
results.
We have a mayor.
We have one
then
council member.
1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, one council member. A mayor and a council member. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that work in the administrative side of city government that aren't elected.
Yeah.
Yep. The auditor and Target Corporation.
Yeah, I mean, nobody from
What?
any other walk of life other than government, other than Target, which always gets a seat at the table for some reason.
Yeah. I mean,
Target,
3M isn't even listed
Yeah,
here.
no, yeah. Amazingly, they must
Yeah.
not have paid enough money to be a part of this. But so yeah. Now, how, ladies and gentlemen, is this applied? Well, look no further.
Yeah.
Look no further, ladies and gentlemen, than New Hope, Minnesota.
Oh, our favorite.
Because you know, if there's a bad idea,
They've made it worse.
New Hope has jumped on it. Made it worse, made it horrible. Now, they put a lot on these city surveys.
Oh,
Now-
they're terrible.
Yeah, and let's just give a little glance at these. I want to look at New Hope's here, just because this is going to come up when we talk about the measures of success in New Hope, what they actually consider a success.
Hey, before we do that, I mean, these city surveys have been nothing but a problem for years. I mean, remember back.
Joke.
I know the old Crystal City Council and the surveys that they were putting out. It's like, what do you think about the level of services in Crystal?
Well, the first question should have been, what can you name of the city services in Crystal?
That's true.
And if you answered that question right, then you can go on and take the rest of the survey.
Right. But everything, I mean, the responses you have to choose from are like excellent, good, fair, and poor.
Or don't know, no opinion, clinically dead.
Right. And there's really no room to expound on that.
Yeah, no comments.
Yeah. And so.
Hey, if you're the city, wouldn't you want to know why somebody rates something? I'd want to know either way.
Right.
Why is it good or bad?
Yeah.
It's a great way for a city to get information.
Right.
It could be very important. But let's look at New Hope.
Okay.
From June 21st to September 30th, 2018, they took their survey.
Yes.
679 responses in a city of 20,000.
Wow.
I mean, I don't see polls that low, but and by the way, that's a slight increase. New Hope is in big letters, and it's a nice increase. 485 were completed by paper. 194 were completed online. I wonder how many were mailed out. What was the cost of mailing this out?
Wow. A lot.
Now you look at how many years have you lived in New Hope? That was the first question. 20%, 64% said 20 years or more.
Wow.
There was a chunk from 11 to 20, a little chunk from 6 to 10, and I don't think anybody from 0 to 1 year should be considered, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, they're there. 3% of them.
Yeah. And in a city that has 50% renting, you know, how seriously do you take any type of... Because you're not getting an accurate picture, first off.
Right.
Those 64% who've lived there for 20 years are not renting.
No.
So
Oh, no.
you're not. It's kind of like doing a survey and having 3/4 of the people be men versus women in a poll. Well, that poll would be dismissed right away as an inaccurate representation of the population.
Right.
So, okay. Anyhow, I guess they're just taking, it's will work for food. Okay, but New Hope. And here are some of the questions. Now, we're not going to go through all of them here, but you tell me. You just threw out a kind of a sample question, Jay, and that would kind of sum up the questions on here.
Okay.
How would you rate the overall appearance of the city? Tell me what the hell that means. First off, you got private property.
Right.
Okay.
City
You have
parks.
businesses,
Uh-huh.
parks, city buildings.
Yeah, you've got industrial
County
areas,
streets.
commercial areas.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the appearance of the city? What are you doing with that information?
Right. It depends where you live. I mean, somebody who lives where you have a lot of single-family homes might think it looks really nice. Someone who lives in the middle of, all those apartment buildings and stuff might not.
Yeah, or very close to Cooper, or very close to
having to deal with the traffic.
Yeah.
Up and down Winnetka.
That's right. Yeah. No doubt about it. So the appearance of the city. Here's my favorite question.
Yeah.
How likely would you be to use public transit if it were readily available?
It is.
Yeah, it is. It's right there. Likely or somewhat likely. Now, somewhat likely is kind of a misnomer. I mean, that's kind of I don't know how seriously to take some. I pretty much put that in the never category.
Yeah.
But that is 32% of respondents. The vast majority, and this survey has been pretty steady for at least the 3 years they show on here,
right,
are unlikely. But do you think New Hope's going to listen?
No.
Yeah. Now here's another good favorite: police services. Now there's a lot. We did a whole episode, Jay, on the relationship between local police. It wasn't that long ago, on police and citizens and that relationship and so on and so forth. And you could argue public safety is is one of the three main things that local government has to deal with. That's public safety, roads, and water and sewer. And you could throw parks in there too. But that's a big thing. Often it's the biggest expense for a city as well, is public safety. Mm-hmm. They have one question dealing with the police services. Here's the question. Now, you tell me what this means. How would you describe your overall feeling? Interesting to use the word feeling.
Yes.
Of safety in the city. That's the question.
So how safe do you feel? Wow. How do you even answer that? It's like...
Well, first off, I mean, police is where you could really ask specific questions, and you can always get a... See, to me, this is a question designed to get a certain answer.
Yeah.
Because, okay, well, I'm guessing if you didn't feel safe or you felt your life was in danger, you'd move.
Right.
So I don't know that, again, there's anything to be learned from this.
Not really. Just bragging. New Hope citizens feel that it's a very safe city. Sell more. I was going to say sell more houses, but they're not building any more houses in New Hope.
Well,
fill up their apartment buildings.
It very well could be. They probably tout this.
Well, they probably do.
Fire and EMS services. One question.
Wow.
What is your perception of the quality of fire education, inspection, and response services provided by West Metro Fire District and Rescue? I wonder, what's your perception? I think 31% answered don't know blank.
Yeah. Wow.
Doesn't that tell you need a new question?
Really, that's it.
Well, but again, they asked you what's your perception.
Right. It's ridiculous, though, because, you take a look at people generally like, no matter how you feel about police, good or bad, you generally like the fire department. They come, they put out the fire, they rescue kittens out of trees, whatever.
Yeah, a lot of them don't work full time.
Right. And so you generally have a pretty good feeling about firefighters in general, especially after, after September 11th, I think that, granted, there are more people that are coming of age that weren't even born when that happened. But generally, you have a pretty good feeling about firefighters. But how many people actually utilize the services? Have you ever had a fire in your home?
I've never dialed 911 in my life.
I've never had a fire in my home. I would say that probably 99%, well, maybe not 99%, well, maybe. What percentage of people in a city actually call the fire department out to their house? It's very small. And so, again, yeah, you're talking perception. I would say most people probably don't get even involved in the education part of that. Yeah. The education part of that, you're going to come across that in schools. So if you're not in the schools, you never will. Or if you take your kids to, like, the firehouse open house day. So it's a super positive experience. As far as inspection goes, unless you're a landlord, you really don't have a fire inspection either.
Right, or a business may
right,
have
or
that.
You're selling fireworks or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's to begin. Here's my favorite question, though.
Okay.
Code enforcement.
Ooh.
Now, again, the city code is like 5 times the size of the Webster's Dictionary.
Yeah.
Okay, but do you think the city is too tough, about right, or not tough enough in enforcing the city code on such nuisance issues as trash can screening, exterior storage, and inoperable vehicles? Now, notice the how the question is worded.
Yeah, they only want to know about those things.
Right. They plucked a couple things.
Yes.
To try to, maybe they're hot buttons at one time in New Hope, or maybe one neighborhood has, or they got a few complaints about something. So they pluck a few things and they get kind of an all over. Again, I don't know what I'm learning from this answer.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how many of the people who filled this out know what the city code says.
Oh, nobody.
0. So they don't know what's in the code. What's the point in asking them?
It's like, I've never been busted on it. I guess it's about right.
No, but here's how you could ask the question if you wanted to actually know an answer. And New Hope, I know you listen to this show, so maybe you'll learn something. The city code says that there can't be an unoperable vehicle in somebody's driveway for X amount of time.
Right.
Do you think that law is fair, unfair, too lenient, too tough? Have you ever seen this as a problem? There's an answer to actually get information.
Right.
Not this BS of, are you tough enough, too tough, when nobody knows what the law is. What's the law in New Hope on trash can screening? I bet the city council doesn't even know. I know they don't know. They're not awake long enough during a council meeting. Exterior storage? So that is what?
Leaving stuff in your yard. Yeah.
So leaving my lawnmower sitting on my back porch is exterior storage?
Yeah. Or shed, where you have a shed. How tall is your shed? How big is your shed?
Yeah, what's the law on that? Nobody filling this out knows that.
They don't
what
know
a
that.
joke of a survey.
How close is your shed to the property line?
Hey, New Hope, I got to say this. If it's possible, I want this under Dumb and Dumber goals. Come up with a worse city survey than New Hope. I don't know what you'd put that under, what letter. But I want a worse city survey than this. See if you and I could come up with a worse.
Oh, I bet we could.
We probably could, but it's tough. They're tough. New Hope's tough to beat.
It is.
It just is. They just are.
Although I tell you, cities. Well, let's finish this, and then we'll circle back, because this doesn't just apply to New Hope.
Oh no.
So,
no, it does not.
No, it does not. How would you rate the quality of communication distribution of information? 24% thought it was excellent. 52% thought it was good. Then you have a smattering of other answers under neutral, fair, poor, or don't know. But again, you're talking about people that actually pay attention to this stuff, because you have very few people that answered the survey, and most of them came via the form of written communication, not online.
Yeah. Well, here's a good question.
Yeah.
You'd have to ask about 4 questions there. First off, where do you get your news about the city?
Yeah.
Could be Channel 12. Could be the Sun Post.
Yeah.
Could be the city website. They do have a alert thing that you can. I get it in Plymouth.
Yeah.
That sends you like an email every 2 weeks or something like that. You could watch council meetings.
City newsletter.
Yeah,
whatever.
They go out quarterly.
Yeah.
At least they did in Crystal. I don't know about New Hope, but there are. It could even be social media. You could be following. Cities have their own Facebook pages, the rec departments, the police departments. Well, at least in some cities.
Right.
New Hope, I'm not sure. I guess I shouldn't go that far. But there's a lot of places to get your info.
Community Solutions Minnesota.
Right. But, I mean,
Yeah.
the point is that if I were a city and I saw that 80% of their people were getting their news one way or 50% or 20%, I would want that info and enhance that.
Right.
But New Hope's completely uninterested in
Right.
how anybody. How do you think we're communicating? I don't know. I mean, what's good communication? What's the standard for that?
And most people don't follow the local issues either. I mean, we know that from our research and our work, and so people don't know what they're missing.
Yeah, they don't know.
All this stuff is being passed without them knowing anything about it. I mean, granted, give credit to the people in New Hope when they tried the organized garbage hauling. People got wind of that and they showed up. But you're going to tell me the city did a good job of communicating that?
No,
that didn't come from the city.
No, the city wanted to get it done and have 3 people show up and have everybody bitch about it after the fact.
Yeah.
That was in their perfect world. They balked at it because the room got full.
Right.
So if the room didn't get full, I think, they'd have one hauler right now. Okay, but I want to get into how and again, folks, I know we're picking on New Hope, but I mean, there's a lot of material here. And yes, you can apply this. And I have to give New Hope credit. They put their Dumb and Dumber things in a place where you can really look at it and dissect it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, Jay, in these SMART goals, what the city actually admits.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm not sure they're aware of what they're at. So I'm not going to give them that much credit. I'm not sure they're aware of what they're saying in some of these. Now, to go into their, I'm just going to say this straight out, to go into their SMART goals, okay, it's a 37-page document. And I'm just telling you, and folks, like Herb Carneal said, you people scoring at home, you people following at home, skip the first 24 pages. Just trust me.
Yeah.
The good stuff is always later. And you pick this up on page 25, SMART goals.
Of course.
These goals established in 2016. And look at city manager and look at the first goal.
Coordinate with department heads to ensure an average of $500,000 per year in grants or outside funding sources for city programs over the next 5 years.
Okay, let me translate that. Get department heads and city managers to get a minimum of $500,000 because they're not going to word it that way. They want more. This is their goal, but they want more. They're not going to turn it down. $500,000 of other people's tax dollars and bring them to New Hope. And grants. Now, grants always come with strings.
Yes.
So we're going to do whatever we have to get that money. We have to sell our souls to, the devil himself. We're going to do it. The city manager, this is part of how he's graded.
Yeah.
Is how much money he can go get from, think
Absolutely.
of the admission right there. I'm going to go get as much tax dollars I'm going to grab Plymouth's money and Golden Valley's money and Crystal's money and, Rozo's money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get it. I'm going to take it and bring it here.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, look at the status of this. The city received 24 grants for $647,126.
Now, once they reached $500,000, why didn't they stop?
Well, that's not the point.
Oh, okay.
Because that was in 2016. In 2017, they only got $280,597.
I wonder if that affected the city manager's raise.
Probably not, because for 2018, the city has secured more than $2.15 million in grants, which will result in meeting the goal in the future. So not just in now, but in the future.
So in 2019 to 20, they're going to stop because they've reached the...
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because $2 million of it is going to help pay for that new pool we talked about before.
So we're going to make it even more expensive.
Yep.
Now people have to send their money to St. Paul, and St. Paul's going to send it to New Hope. How much money's lost in that merry-go-round?
A new SMART goal, increase number of best practice actions completed through Minnesota Green Step City Sustainability Program by 5% for 2018. Yep.
Look at the very next one.
Yes.
Assessing. You want to know why New Hope's building high-density housing every year?
This is it.
It's right here in their dumb goals.
Yeah.
Increase total city taxable property market value. Kind of a limerick there. By $50 million per year over the next 5 years.
Wow.
$50 million.
Wow.
So, you want to know why the place by the golf course is going in?
Because moving on up.
Moving on up. Yep.
To these times.
I won't play the song.
Okay.
But I maybe I will later. Wheezy. Play the song, Wheezy.
Yeah.
So $50 million.
Yeah.
So if we're going to manipulate the market, we're going to have higher density, we're going to subsidize whatever we have to in order to meet that goal.
Yeah.
We're going to assess with that in mind. Well, I guess the county does the assessing, but,
right.
So, I mean, it's right there.
At some point, you have to run out of places to build new, like, high-density housing.
Well, especially in a city like New Hope. I mean, it's not half farmland, half city.
Right. I don't know.
$50 million. They're just eyeing more taxes. All they want to be able to do is to take more. I like this. Elections.
Yeah.
Achieve a 55% gubernatorial race turnout and an 80% for the presidential. Well, what is that?
How are you going to make people vote? 80% voter turnout for the presidential races?
Well, they hit it in 2016. 80.31. But here's my question.
Yeah.
With their level of communication, how do they do that?
Yeah. Everybody come vote on Wednesday.
Yeah. But I mean, the question they ask on communication, how are they going to communicate when they can't even ask a question right about it?
Well, you got to look at the goals on communication, Andrew.
Did I skip over that?
This is why their communication level is so high, because they base it on write and coordinate distribution of 12 in the pipeline utility bill inserts annually over the next 3 years. So whoopity-doo, every month in the utility bill, you stick a piece of paper. Yeah, that's great.
But where does that go? Where do your inserts go when you get your electric?
The recycling? They never even come out of the envelope.
Yeah.
It's like, where's my bill? Good. I'm going to pay it. Everything else goes in the recycling.
I'm going to pay it. I'm going to cuss while I write that check. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I'm not sure I could ever tell you what an insert was.
No. And then the other one is execute 50 reader board updates annually over the next 3 years.
Where's the reader board?
I assume that's like outside City Hall.
Which is not exactly on Winnetka or... So, what, I pull it out of Hy-Vee? I got to take a right to go over there to read the board?
Yeah. Maybe with their communication, they can come up with a billboard to tell people to drive down to City Hall and read the reader board.
Well, first off, okay, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Billboards are dying because nobody's watching anything when they're driving, including the driver.
Exactly.
They're too busy keeping up with the Kardashians on YouTube, or they're too busy watching The Voice, or they're too busy tuning the radio, or eating, cherry pie, or whatever they do in the car that isn't driving.
Right.
And whoever's not driving is buried in their phone.
Yep.
So, I mean, tell me, I drive down 169 every single day.
Mm-hmm.
There's billboards everywhere. I couldn't tell you what any of them say.
Right.
Okay. So what is a reader board? What is that? That's how they're measuring communication in New Hope.
Yes.
We're going to put 50 messages every 3 years. So it's like 2 a season or whatever. It's like 4 a season. That's what they're going to do.
Well, think about it. What? That's
what's their message going to be? Hey, we got an A+ bond rating this month. What's that? What's their message?
Yeah.
What do you feel about the police services? What's your perception?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, speaking of finance.
Yeah.
Increase the bond rating from an AA to an AA+, which they're not at.
Well, they have lots of practice writing bonds. So
they have a ton of practice writing bonds, which is good. And I mean, again, the bond rating is not, this is good borrowing and that's bad borrowing.
Right.
You could owe a lot of money and have a good credit score.
Yep.
So it's deceiving when you look at a bond rating.
Absolutely.
Bond rating is for investors, and you think, again, somebody in the city would know or understand that. How about human resources?
Yes.
Maintain an employee turnover rate of 12% or below over the next 3 years. Now, Jay, there's something to be said for continuity.
Yeah.
There's something to be said, though, for an amount of turnover is inevitable. You have retirements. You have people who get promotions in other cities. You have people who move.
Yeah.
And you have employees who suck.
Yeah.
And they should be gotten rid of.
Absolutely.
So is a high turnover rate necessarily something that is bad?
No.
I mean, if I'm running a baseball team and my team is so-so, they're not very good.
Yeah.
And I bring all the same guys back the next year.
Right. Or if you're the Twins and you just get rid of the good players.
Or you just turn over 13 guys every year. Maybe you win once in a while. But I mean, Tampa Bay, Oakland. But I mean, a turnover rate can be good and it can be bad.
Right.
And it shouldn't be judged as, you should want good people, not keeping somebody so a rate looks good to your bosses.
But that's government. I mean, getting a government job is a job for life in most cases.
Often it is, yes. They're pretty cushy.
Yeah.
But I'm just amazed that a turnover rate, it's like, we don't care whether they're good or not. We just care that they don't leave.
Right.
So that's their standard. Planning.
Oh, I love this one.
Okay, now again, we're back to the same thing about high density housing. Increase the population by 3% by the year 2020. So it is they want to bring in more people.
Yes.
It's not New Hope's a great place. We're going to do everything we can. We'll let the market decide who comes here and who doesn't. We'll let the private sector determine that. No, we're going to make a policy that we want more people here in 10 years, no matter what.
No matter what. So that's why they build all this high-density housing, because they think we build it and they will come. But that's not exactly the case, and there's a lot of vacancy across the city. And I don't think that just because they've built it, you're going to see all these big increases in population.
Well, but then also you have to think about population in terms of children.
Yeah.
I mean, if you build a senior center, well, they're not coming with their kids and their...
No.
I mean,
and
they come to
A lot
visit.
of turnover. There's a lot of turnover.
No kidding. So, again, I think neighborhood stability is a little bit more important than that. I mean, who cares if there's 1% less people? I mean,
right.
There's got to be a financial thing.
Again, it's the quality of the people.
Yeah.
But, you get all these big buildings and you can charge more in taxes and, it's...
Do you know how many community education and outreach programs there are in New Hope without looking?
No.
33.
Wow.
They have a goal, though.
Yes.
That's not enough.
Oh, of course not.
The goal is to increase that number. They don't have a number, but they talk about how it has remained stable.
Really? So,
with their communication skills, I think it's fair to say that maybe those programs aren't outreaching enough.
Yes. Wow.
Huh. Listen to this one under fire.
Yes.
Attract a minimum of 50 firefighter candidates. Every year recruiting takes place over the next 10 years. 50.
Wow.
Now they share a fire department.
Right.
50? Well, that's got to
me.
be between both.
I would assume so.
Huh. That's a smart goal.
Yeah, well, I don't know, you're not going to hire all 50 every year.
I don't think so.
That's 150 people you're hiring.
You'd have thousands at some point.
Mm-hmm. Also receive $50,000 in grants, reimbursements, and donations annually over the next 5 years for the fire department and EMS.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
Proactive inspections. Now, I don't know what that means exactly. Without increasing permit fee schedule, increase fees collected for permits. So if you're not going to increase the fee, you must have to increase the amount of inspections you're doing.
Probably.
Who are you inspecting?
Well, I guess anything you can. New homes, any kind of upgrades to old homes, businesses. When tenants come, tenants go. Probably
Okay, but an upgrade on my private property, is that subject to somebody coming over and
could be. You're throwing in like an egress window. They're going to want to look at that. You're putting on a new roof. They're going to want to look at that. Do
they? I didn't even know they did that.
Oh yeah.
So I can't hire somebody to put a new roof on my house without the city.
They'll have to go pull a permit. Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to even...
I'm wrapping my head around. Perform at least 600 code compliance investigations.
Wow.
Annually. Is that like a surprise visit somewhere? And we're going to go look and see if we can nickel and dime you for something?
You got me. I wouldn't be very happy.
Well, in 2017, they performed 1,147.
Yeah.
So why did they stop at 600?
I don't know. That seems kind of like just... There must be some sort of price point there. Otherwise, it's just kind of a random number.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's what, like 4 a day that they're, and you know damn well they're not doing it on the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, they want to maintain the average number of goose nests in the city from 2013 through 2015 at the same level for 2016 through 2018. They're hitting their goals. They need to be rewarded for maintaining the level of goose nests. Yeah. That's fantastic.
So these are the SMART goals that...
yeah. I mean, and there's more. Believe me. Streets, special revenue fund, facilitating the demolition and construction or renovation of at least 6 scattered site single-family homes per year over the next 3 years.
Yeah, and they have goals from everything, increasing the number of rounds played at the golf course. So that must be why everybody at the Irondale or Ironwood place is getting free golf memberships. They can meet their goal.
Absolutely.
Because it went down. From 2017 to 16, it went down.
Yeah.
Increased the rented ice hours at the ice arena and open skating attendance. So that's tracked with that.
Wow. Under solid waste management, I don't see anything about the ordinances that are being written by the city council.
They don't want that as a goal because they might not achieve it. And I love this.
Yes.
Information technology on the very last page.
Yes.
4-year cycle of laptops. The old everything. Remember, everything on the government is on
It's on a schedule.
It's on a schedule of end of use life.
Yes.
A chair in the office will be replaced after X amount of time.
Why? Because they said it needs to be.
Because every 5 years we replace them.
Yep.
We budget for it. We do it, and they're going to continue to do that. I'd like to know. I don't know how many laptops they have. Actually, I got it here. 96 city-owned computers.
Wow. So almost 100. So they're replacing 25 a year. My guess is
they're not getting a compact.
Oh, no.
You know, with Windows 3.1.
I mean, they're probably $600 computers or so, maybe 800.
By the way, laptops can be upgraded and work great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some use them more than others.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's a few over there that use them as a headrest.
or a lunch plate.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. You know
all those keys that are stuck, all those keys that they can't type.
They got rice jammed in between.
Yeah, Fruit Loop over in between the... Okay. All right. Now, here, the moral of the story as we wrap up here is you have got this program from California found its way into Minnesota. It has been dropped on local governments, and we got local governments doing these worthless surveys and having all these goals with no regard to you, the taxpayer. This is all their goals, their justifications for their policies. And even if you're not part of SMART goals, as we talk about, you don't have to be a part of it to be adopting some of this stuff.
Right.
So you go through your city, you see if they're with SMART goals, and if they are, you get them with Dumb and Dumber goals, which we're going to make up with your help.
That's right. You can send those to commsolutions@gmail.com. That's commsolutions@gmail.com, or reply on our blog or on Facebook under the podcast here, and maybe we'll read some of those if they're interesting enough.
And New Hope, there's a rule about New Hope. If it's a bad idea, they are all over it.
That's true.
It's a good idea, they run from it. So expect, expect the usual cities, I'm sure, will be part of this, but I bet there's cities that you wouldn't even think of.
Oh, I'm sure.
That are part of SMART goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
You better be a part. You better get on board.
Because this is happening all over the state.
Of course.
Over
the country.
That's why the League of Minnesota Cities is pushing for it, because it's cities all over Minnesota. And it is happening all over the country. It started somewhere other than here, and we've adopted it. And we're not the only state that's adopted it.
Well, and again, it's part of this one-size-fits-all stuff. I mean, what does some jackass at the University of California know about the city of New Hope?
Nothing.
Wouldn't know New Hope from Duluth. Yeah. So why are we following what they're following?
Exactly. No, businesses have taken this on to this whole SMART goals thing, and having goals is all fine and good. We're not saying just run and do things willy-nilly, but the structure that has been put in place has been really just to grow government. And so the only thing that we can do is stand up. And whether that's getting onto an advisory commission, whether that's running for something, I know I'm a broken record. I say this all the time. But if you guys had gotten it yet, we wouldn't still be having less than 1% of people across the state that are like-minded involved. We would be seeing the kinds of numbers and seeing things change that need to change. And so we really need you guys to get this, because let me tell you, they are not going to stop until they get what they want, or we shut them down. And so we need to do that, guys. It's that simple. But we believe in you, and we believe that you have the ability to do these things, and we believe you have the want to deep inside. It's just getting ourselves to that place where we can.
You said stand up?
Yeah.
Made me think of Bob Marley.
Yeah. I love that song. Just make sure we don't have to pay royalties.
Oh, no, I won't play it long enough.
Okay.
Be less than 30 seconds. I mean, Bob Marley gets it. Why does the New Hope get it?
Right. Well, he faced, I think, a little more persecution than...
Not much more, as far as I'm concerned. But
well, than the residents of New Hope. Yeah. I get it. All right, guys. So I gave you the email address already. Get a hold of us. We want to help you out. Spread the word far and wide, because we do this for you guys. We do this for the state of Minnesota. We don't just love to hear ourselves talk. We want you to take what we talk about and run with it. So please, just run with it. Just do it. We're doing our part, pulling this stuff together every week for your benefit. Now, we're handing the baton off to you. And why? Because we love you, Minnesota. Now it's your turn to get to work.
If I get too caught up